back and forth a little bit. A little back and forth with Japan, okay? So we can show a lot. I just want to say, wait, Brunson and Halliburton are here? Hey. I just wanted to apologize to him. I apologize to him off camera. It was a clear misunderstanding. They told him that he could take the mask off in that area, and they told me I could stream in that area, and it just clashed and shit happened. It was never my intention. I would never do that on purpose, and I'm sorry. Can we talk about how the WWE had me on the Jumbotron? Yo, what? National television? My bad. I might have got booed by the crowd, but at the end of the day, bro, it don't matter because it does matter. I was hurt. Yeah! What's good? Woo! I think I'm getting booed, but it's all right. Let's go. They're mad because I leaked a guy's face. Oh, how you guys doing? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
No camera?
I use mask.
I had no idea, bro. It was not my fault. It was not my fault. They told him he could take his thing off. They told me I could stream in there. We both collided and it didn't work. And it happens, bro.
The first video established one thing very clearly. When Penta asked for that footage to be deleted, the situation should have ended right there. But since that video went up, or that live video went up, more information has developed. Now, we have a bigger question at hand. Was N3ON solely responsible for this situation? Or did Fanatics Fest create a complete communication failure by telling Penta he could remove the mask while telling N3ON he could live stream in the same area? Because if those two things are true, then this was not simply one person ignoring the rules. It was an event allowing two completely different sets of instructions to exist in the same space. Welcome to the Tea Drop, where the brew is strong and there's lots to talk about. Right, everyone, strap in because this follow-up has some layers into it. We are going to react to N3ON's explanation, look at the heat he is receiving from wrestling fans, examine WWE's reported response, discuss the potential lawsuit rumor, and decide whether Fanatics Fest deserves a large part of the blame. And just so we are clear, from the beginning, this is not a defense of everything N3ON did. It is also not an excuse to repeat unverified legal claim as a fact. So let's get into this drop. Here's what has developed since the first video we dropped. N3ON has continued to argue that the incident was a misunderstanding. His version is that Penta was told he could take the mask off in that area, while N3ON was told he could live stream in that same area. N3ON says the footage appeared accidentally and that exposing Penta's face was never his intention. That explanation has also been reported by wrestling news outlets, including No DQ and Ringside News. Now, if that is accurate, then Fanatics Fest absolutely has a communication problem. And I'm not surprised because I've gone to the past 2 years and it's been, some things are great that happens, but there has been miscommunication problems or misorganization in that event. Tends to happen at times at these cons. Unfortunately, this was a big one. You cannot tell a masked wrestler of Lucha background that it is safe to remove the mask and then allow a live streamer with a camera crew to operate in the same space without making sure both sides understand what is happening. That is basic event management. Big fail. But the important word here is if, because we are relying on reported accounts on what each person was told. We do not have a public event document showing the exact instructions Fanatics Fest gave to Penta, N3ON, WWE, or even the camera crew that N3ON has. So I'm not going to pretend we have a complete internal report. What we do know is that two things went wrong. Penta's privacy was compromised. And you guys on the internet could say, oh, big deal, big deal. Then you have no respect for Lucha background. You have no respect for Lucha Libre. And you guys, as far as I know, you may not be wrestling fans because you would respect the cultures of some wrestling people. The fact that some of you saying, well, why is he taking off his mask in the background? We don't know the truth of why. Maybe he had an itch. Maybe he had to breathe. You know, sometimes in Javits Center, it becomes weirdly hot in some areas. Maybe that was it. I don't know. Maybe he had to redo his paint face after a signing event or after a photo event. Because, you know, with the photo events, they have so many bright lights and maybe his thing went undone. We don't know, obviously, because Penta hasn't told us or anyone in his side has told us why he took off his mask. Maybe he had to take it off for some reason. It happens. And even so, they are allowed to do it if they need to for some reason. And he didn't take it off prematurely. He asked the Fanatics team, hey, can I take the mask off? And they said, sure, you can take it off back here. No issues. So don't give me that BS, guys. Two culprits. There's many culprits involved. Like I said, Penta's privacy was compromised, and N3ON did not immediately stop the broadcast when Penta asked the footage to be deleted. Those facts can exist alongside the possibility that the event created the confusion. Now, this is where N3ON's explanation starts to lose people. He keeps returning to the statement, I didn't post it, I was live. And some of you have said the same thing. And technically, that is a distinction. He did not upload a separate edited video titled, for example, Penta's Real Face, but unfortunately, live streaming is still publishing content in real time. Thousands of people can see it. Someone probably, as you guys probably know, can screen record it, because that's probably what happened. Someone can also clip it. Eventually, someone can repost it. Someone can turn it into a reaction video before the original stream has even ended. So when N3ON says, I didn't post it, the wrestling fans hear something very different. They hear him trying to separate himself from the consequence of something that happened on his broadcast. That is why the response has created even more heat, to be honest. If you are running an IRL stream and someone tells you delete that, you cannot treat the situation like a normal social media upload. You do not simply say, well, technically I did not post it. You stop the stream. That's probably the first thing you should have done. You stop the stream. You remove the camera, you speak to the person directly. You make sure the footage is not saved or distributed. That may not erase what already happened, but it shows that you understand as a person the seriousness of the moment. You can tell him, look, I deleted it all on my end. Here you go, sir. I apologize, whatever, yada, yada, yada. Unfortunately, because this is a live stream, I can't guarantee you it's not out there on the internet. But please understand my sincere apology for what I did. And I hope I did not cause any harm. I really don't. You know, you do something like that on the spot. You do not wait till Saturday Night Main Event to say that. All right? If you did it back then, maybe Penta would understand your genuine apology. This is the part N3ON has not explained clearly enough when I spoke about all that. Did he understand that Penta was asking for the live stream to stop? Or did he believe the request only applied to a future upload? Because those are not the same thing. This is the distinction without a solution. Now let's talk about Fanatics Fest, because this is where the story becomes more complicated. If Penta was told he could remove his mask in a particular area, right? Not the whole backstage. They told him in a particular area, let's say the green room, because I think that's the area that they were at. That area should have been treated as a control space. If, you know, like they would do that with a celebrity, right? Like a higher level celebrity, right? Or a big top sports person. If they needed some privacy, the Fanatics security would have secured the area and make sure no one enters the space. So they kind of probably should have done it with them. If Fanatics Fest truly understands wrestling culture, they should have understand, oh, he's going to take off his mask. Guys, close that door, close that door, close that door over there. Please seal the area. Make sure no one's here before he takes off his mask. Make sure there's no filming. Make sure there's no people doing live streams. Make sure no random phones are around, no camera crew wandering around through, unless it's our people, unless it's WWE's people. Nothing of that probably happened. And if N3ON was told he could live stream in that same area, then somebody needed to tell him exactly what he could do and could not do, filming wise. Maybe someone would have told him, hey, before you come in, you know, Penta is taking off his mask. He's trying to do something. Please give us a few minutes and we'll let you through. All that shouldn't have been done, including they should have told him he could not film, which includes not filming wrestlers without masks. If N3ON didn't understand, fine. Someone needed to explain it to him. They should have had a private conversation, maybe figure out another way to move backstage while Penta is doing something, give clear security instructions, and anything connected to a performer's protected identity. It's very important in the wrestling world. This is not just a wrestling issue. It is the same standard used probably at concerts, film sets, sporting events, and private media areas. If an event gives a creator access, the event has a responsibility to provide clear rules. But And this matters. The event's mistake does not remove N3ON's responsibility once the problem becomes obvious. The moment Penta reacted and asked for the footage to be deleted, N3ON had new information. And at that point, the original permission became irrelevant. The situation had changed. Penta had made his boundary clear. So my view is that Fanatics Fest may have created the confusion. I think it's obvious at this point. N3ON mishandled the moment after the confusion became obvious, and Penta was the person who paid the price. That is why blaming only one side is honestly too simple at this point. So is N3ON getting deserved heat? Yes, but we have to be precise about what he deserves criticism for. He deserves criticism for not immediately taking stronger responsibility. He deserves criticism for relying on the phrase, "I did not post it," when the footage was still shown through his stream. He deserves criticism if he failed to make sure the footage was removed after Penta specifically asked for it to be deleted. And he deserves criticism for entering a wrestling environment without understanding the importance of a masked wrestler's identity. But here's the difference between saying N3ON acted carelessly and saying he intentionally exposed Penta. I have not seen proof that he deliberately set out to reveal Penta's face. Doesn't seem like it. That accusation might feel believable to people who already dislike N3ON. But feeling believable is not the same as being proven. The stronger argument is this: the incident may have been accidental, but N3ON's response made the public believe he cared more about defending himself than protecting Penta. That is the real problem. Intent is always going to matter, but accountability matters after the mistake as well. Two things can be true at the same time. N3ON may not have planned to expose Penta, and N3ON may still have handled the aftermath badly. That is where, honestly, I land on this whole thing. WWE's reported response was to prevent N3ON from recording in the WWE area at Fanatics Fest. That makes sense from a risk management standpoint. If somebody's live stream creates a privacy problem involving one of your wrestlers, you are going to limit that person's access going forward. But here's where WWE's behavior also creates an interesting question. Reports later indicated that N3ON still attended Saturday night's main event, as you know, and was publicly shown by WWE during the broadcast. So is WWE furious with N3ON? Probably, at least regarding the incident. But is WWE completely finished with N3ON? The evidence shown does not clearly show that. And this is the uncomfortable business reality. WWE may dislike the situation and still understand the attention that N3ON brings. The company may want to control his access without completely cutting off the audience he represents. That is not hypocrisy necessarily. It is business, true and through at the end of the day. A company can say you cannot film backstage while also saying your presence still creates attention for the event. That is why the phrase WWE hates N3ON is too simple. The more accurate description is that WWE appears to have treated the incident as a serious access and risk issue while still recognizing N3ON's value as an attention generator. Those two things can be true at the same time. Now, we need to address the lawsuit rumor that happened after I posted the first video. A claim has been circulating that Penta could sue N3ON for millions of dollars. But as of this recording, I have not found a verified public lawsuit, a court filing, a confirmed demand letter, or an official statement from Penta, WWE, or Fanatics Fest confirming that legal action has been filed. There are online discussions repeating the claim, but an online discussion is not a court document. And somebody saying, "I heard there's a lawsuit," is not proof a lawsuit exists. So be careful with that part. The responsible wording is there is a lawsuit rumor, but it has not been independently verified, and not Penta is suing N3ON for $10 million. That second statement presents an unconfirmed claim as fact. Maybe legal action happens later. Maybe it does not. Maybe a private settlement is discussed. Maybe the story disappears entirely altogether. Until there is an actual filing or an official statement, we should not make a legal conclusion. And if N3ON is saying that a lawsuit exists, then the burden is on him or his representation to provide the receipts. The receipts are right here when it comes to this, or in this case, the receipts are currently missing. Now, when it comes to the fans, the fan reaction is split into, I feel like, 3 major camps at this point. The first group is backing N3ON. Their argument is that he was given permission to livestream. Penta was reportedly given permission to remove the mask, and N3ON did not intentionally upload the footage. From that perspective, Fanatics Fest created the collision. The second group is not backing N3ON at all. Their argument is that the moment Penta said delete that, N3ON should have stopped the broadcast. They believe I was live is not an excuse. It is the reason the situation becomes worse. The third group is focused on wrestling culture. For these fans, the issue is not whether N3ON knew the rules. The issue is that he entered an environment where the rules mattered and failed to understand the significance of the mask. And honestly, I understand all 3 perspectives. The fans defending N3ON are right that the event organizers have a responsibility to communicate clearly. The fans also criticizing N3ON are also right that a live stream is still capable of distributing private footage instantly. And the wrestling fans are right that Penta's mask is not just a costume piece. It is part of his identity, his history, and his connection to Lucha Libre and culture. The mistake is acting like only one of those facts can be true. So here's my final thoughts on this. Fanatics Fest may have created the original mistake by giving Penta and N3ON conflicting instructions. N3ON may not have intentionally set out to reveal Penta's face, but once Penta asked for the footage to be deleted, N3ON's responsibility became clear at that point. He needed to stop the broadcast, remove the footage, and take ownership without hiding behind the phrase, "I did not post it." This is why I believe N3ON deserves some of the heat he is receiving. Not because we can prove that he planned the incident, not because every lawsuit rumor online is true, and not because every insult coming from the WWE audience is fair. He deserves criticism because the response did not immediately match the seriousness of the harm. The event may have failed to communicate, N3ON may have failed to react properly, and Penta's boundary was still violated. That is the full story. Not N3ON is completely innocent, not also N3ON deliberately exposed Penta. The truth is more uncomfortable than either side wants to admit. I want to hear from you guys after all. Do you believe Fanatics Fest is primarily responsible because the instructions were unclear? Or should N3ON have ended the live stream the second Penta asked him to delete the footage? Or does the lawsuit rumor have any credibility, or should people stop repeating it until there's an actual filing? And do you believe WWE is genuinely finished with N3ON, or is the company simply limiting his access while still using the attention he brings? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and as always, if the tea hit right, hit the like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.